Page 14, Dandelion Rag. A ragtime piece. Cool. We're going to do the eighth notes evenly, of course. It's ragtime. I would like to make a few suggestions, and let's just make sure we got the rhythm correct. Right at the beginning. Look at these. These are broken chords. These are just, if you play all those four notes together in the right hand, you get this chord. And the left hand, same chord down here. Then again, it's a different inversion of the same chord. And that's really all we're doing. It's just one note at a time. I tend to use the fourth finger on this, but you can use fifth finger is fine. You can use their fingering. So my fingering may differ from yours, but you can follow their fingering if you want. I tend to use fourth finger on those. Let's start at measure 5. Let's go over this rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you ought to be able to figure it out, I hope. Watch the accidentals. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that rhythm is all over the place. If you can just get that. Now if it's confusing you, temporarily take out the ties and it might help. So if you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, then if you can get that, then put the ties back in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The others the same rhythm, different notes. Some people, it's that quarter note that throws them. So another thing you can do, if it may mess you up, I don't know. Some people might help, I don't know. Instead of a quarter note, play 2 eighth notes, just 2, like in the first measure, or measure 5, you have a quarter note, E, just play 2 E's as eighth notes. So you're playing eighth notes throughout the whole thing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's all eighth notes. Just keep in mind that a quarter note is like tying 2 eighth notes together. So you know 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Over on page 15, measure 21. They suggesting this. I don't like that. I would suggest you do the G sharp D with 2/5, and then for the AC do a 1/4. This is a very common pattern, fingering pattern in piano, and you just won't get it. And this way you don't have to move your hand way up into the black key area where it's awkward. Same thing over on measure 23. And so I recommend that. The 5/2 and then 1/4. Those 1/4. Measure 27, that fingering is okay because there's staccato. Now the last note at the end of the third line on page 15, what is that? Measure 29, 6, 7, measure 28. 6, 7, 8, yeah. That last chord, that's not staccato. So the left hand's not staccato. Only the first note in the right hand. So you can hold that down until the left hand plays the B. If you can. It's a minor thing. If you play it staccato, big deal as far as I guess. I wouldn't do. The idea is the last one is just, it's the last oomph. So that there's more oomph to it if it's not staccato. You don't accent it necessarily, but by playing a full length, it gives it a little more oomph. Now the left hand, for the most part, just has, starting measure 5, you just have this oop chuck, oop chuck. Watch the fingering, it's good fingering. And the sooner you can learn to do that without looking at the keyboard, the better. To feel that, the first chord there on measure 5 is this. And then when you get over to measure 7, it's this. So the idea is try and feel these chords. And then when you're doing this oop chuck, it's on measure 24. In the left hand, only the first note's staccato. So connect those. It's the same idea sort of as measure 28, but they didn't put in the slur. I would play it as though it were slurred. I'd connect those two, because you're going back to measure 5 at this point. It's the same difference. At the bottom of page 15, look at the last measure. This is both hands. You're here, then the next chord is here. Accent is staccato, fortissimo. I think the fortissimo kind of takes care of the accent because it's very loud. You don't need an accented very loud. Just very loud does it. And then I would suggest, well, it's up to you. I tend to play the last chord in the right hand at 2, 3, 5 because the chord is this. I'm here before it, and then I just go up to here. To me. But if you want to do it 1, 2, 5, it's up to you. You're moving your hand around a little more. It's a personal thing. I don't move my hands around anymore, and I have to in piano usually, and that last measure in the right hand is here to here, and then I can go to here, and I'm hardly moving the hand at all. But you could do it if you want. The last note is not staccato, so you're going to hang on to that one a little longer. Now the only pedaling is the first 2 measures, and I'm not going to show it because hopefully you can do that. At the beginning of this it's loud. It's not very loud. Save that for the very end. But then when you start on measure 5, you got to come down a little bit. It's just sort of a medium loud, so it's here. So you have to experiment with this and make it fit, and it's up to you as the interpreter, as the performer, how you're going to interpret it. You have choices. Yeah, I know it would be easier if I would just tell you to do it one way. Well, I ain't here to do easy. I'm here to hopefully get your imagination going and thinking about things a bit. Roadmap on this, in case you're confused. Over on page 15, into the 3rd line, you have a DS. DS sign out coda is what it says. DS means go back to the sign. They're showing you what the sign looks like. The sign always looks like that. I don't know why they're showing it to you. But the sign is over a measure 5, the beginning of measure 5. So you go back to there. And then the coda sign is the circle with the crosshairs. That's at the bottom of the page on page 14. So when you finish that measure, you immediately jump across, straight across there, and do the coda. The bottom of page 15. That's how that part works. Anyway, let's try this out really slowly, just to check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to show the pedal because it's just an overlap pedal for the first 2 measures. All they're doing is just connecting these broken chords. Other than that, it's very bouncy. It's very light. Not light, it's bouncy. Because it's kind of loud, actually. 4/4 times, I'll give us 4 counts. So you're starting out here, here, and foot's on the pedal for the first 2 measures. 1, 2, ready, and go, and. Rest, rest. Now, I don't know if there's any recordings. I really don't want to have to play. It's kind of repetitious. But to give you an idea of what it might, because they don't give you tempo, and happy with a steady beat. Steady means keep this chuck going. Keep that going, but make that steady. Be happy about it, I guess. I don't know what it means.